Diddy will not go to jail. Don't you think Diddy knew the entire time that there was a chance that he would possibly get caught from video to allegedly be recording everybody that attended his parties? See, you gotta understand a narcissist. Narcissists believe and think that they're smarter than everybody. They think that they dot every I and cross every T. Diddy also is not extinct. Diddy thought that even if he got caught, he would get out of it. And guess what? He was right. Stay tuned.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
You got knocked the fuck out. What's happening?
See, this is the reason Diddy and whomever he collaborated with, because this is not only Diddy. I believe that he collaborated with the powers that be in the record industry in order to already have this situation established. Because here's the thing, as a coach, I coach leaders all around the world. And one thing we do in the first couple sessions, we paint a picture. We see what the end looks like before we even start. I believe that the record industry also used Diddy seeing the end before it started. They wanted to empower all of these black artists and give them this money, ultimately to pull the carpet from under them and take the money back as they implode the industry. And Diddy was a key figure in it. Now, Diddy's a narcissist. Take that, take that, take that. He believes he's smarter than everybody. So this is where the cameras allegedly come into play. Diddy knows. This is why Diddy won't go to jail. Because he knew that all he had to do this is why he enticed high profile celebrities to come. Mediocre and different small level, they wasn't really allowed unless they were just a sex worker or did something else, satisfy some other agenda, but not to come and interact with the elites. He wanted the top elites because here's the thing. Diddy knows the power of leverage. Diddy knows that even if he's eventually caught, if he has the right people, the right high profile people that gets caught in uncompromisable positions, engaging in criminal activity at his freak-offs, at his parties, he knows that the power of leverage, because maybe he has someone that cannot go to jail. They're so high profile. This is why Diddy is not going to jail. This whole ordeal has been calculated for years and maybe even decades. Now, again, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to name some people that has been named in Diddy's lawsuits, allegedly engaging and being in close quarters of these freak-offs and engaging in criminal activity. But best believe, right, there are others to come. In fact, Diddy has a get out of jail card free, and he's going to drop that at the right time. He's going to drop that get out of jail free card when things look so bad for Diddy that everybody assumes he's going to go to jail, and then he's going to drop this get out of jail free card. Going to expose someone that's of elitist stature, and that's what's going to prevent Diddy from going to jail. So we're going to go through some of these people that's been allegedly involved in some of these lawsuits, especially in the Rodney Jones lawsuit. Rodney Jones, although he hasn't been questioned yet by the Homeland Security or FBI, his lawsuit was more revealing almost than Cassie's lawsuit. So we're going to unpack this, and Diddy again will not do jail time because Diddy is a smart, calculated, alleged criminal that was allegedly sex trafficking females and having them compromise themselves in unthinkable ways, as well as men as well. But Diddy knew that this was a possibility that he would get caught. So Diddy already was preparing his get out of jail card free in the sense of having the highest profile person that he's going to drop that bombshell soon. And this is why Diddy will not go to jail. As I mentioned, Rodney Jones has not yet to be questioned by the FBI, although Rodney Jones said he's ready and willing to give up all tapes, right? So some of the celebrity names listed and detailed that occurred has been anything but quiet. In fact, some celebrities named will blow your mind. Okay, King Combs, we already saw him. This is Diddy's son. King Combs has been named in Rodney Jones's lawsuit, but he won't be a co-defendant. He wasn't named in any criminal activity, but although he was said to be having sex with underage girls and engaging in freak-offs and different things like that. However, Justin Combs, King's brother, is definitely named as a co-defendant, conspiring in these freak-offs, conspiring to get underage girls to come back and engage in illicit, illegal activities. Now, King Combs is not totally off the hook. He got bigger fish to fry. Another young lady came out with a lawsuit just last week against King Combs, alleged that in 2022, King Combs did a take that on her. Like father, like son. The apples don't fall far from the tree. In her lawsuit, she alleged that King Combs drugged her and sexually assaulted her. She was an employee on the yacht that she's alleging that King Combs, as well as the Diddy entourage, they had a party on, and King Combs pulled the Diddy on her. And this young lady's name is Grace O'Markey, and she has named King Combs in a lawsuit for sexual assault. Now, here's the thing, the apples don't fall far from the tree, but how much of a narcissist are you, Diddy, that you don't even care? I already know narcissists, they only care about themselves, but to incriminate your children, your namesake, to incriminate your children in this dysfunction, in this criminal activity is unheard of, my friend. This, Diddy, is the worst of the worst. You all know Daphne Joy. Well, let me tell you who Daphne Joy is. Daphne Joy is 50 Cent's son Sear's mother. They dated for 11 years and they have a son named Sear. Now, 50 Cent got word that Daphne Joy is named in Rodney Jones's lawsuit, and she's named as a sex worker. Her and Young Miami. They were named as two sex workers that Diddy kept them on a payroll as sex workers. And we're going to jump into this specifically. So, Daphne Joy was named, and this is when 50 Cent started taking shots at her, and he was at the Nicki Minaj concert and he took the mic and said something in the notion to sex workers. And
you, even if you're a little sex worker, and you, even if you're a little
things, and he was taking a shot at his ex, at his son's mom, Daphne Joy. She was named in a lawsuit as a sex worker. Now, according to Robin Greenhill, the accountant, this is what Rodney Jones said. Robin Greenhill, the accountant, would ensure the wiring funds transfer of cash payments to sex workers. Now, this includes Daphne Joy and Young Miami. Now, Frankie Santella, this is Moy Bwan, Brendan Paul, and KK would also be responsible for ensuring payment to sex workers in cash. So Diddy had this elaborate operation. He had many people distributing cash. He didn't just want to have it one-dimensional so it make it easier to catch and easier to identify. Diddy's calculated. He's been calculated from the beginning. That's what narcissists do. Now, again, Young Miami, Jade, and Daphne Joy were paid a monthly fee to work as Mr. Combs sex workers and receive payment via wire transfer from Robin Greenhill, which outlined defendants' ongoing criminal operation. Wow, this thing had many layers. So there had to be many people involved. And I'm not just talking about the people that we're talking about here, the people that attended the parties and played small roles. There had to be big fish that were involved in this. I'm talking about people, the head of these record labels and things. They all had to be in on this to continue to conspire in this type of thing for decades. It's going down. Now, it's not just alleged that Young Miami was a sex worker, and we already know it was alleged she was dating Diddy and things like that, but maybe this is why she was dating Diddy, because she served so much of the purpose that Diddy needed to satisfy his whole criminal enterprise, sex trafficking, allegedly, and so forth and so on. But Young Miami is also alleged to have been dealing drugs. Now, according to reports, Young Miami stands accused of transporting pink cocaine. And this is the first, when I read this, I didn't know what pink cocaine was, but I'll tell you what it is real soon. And it's a popular drug at the Diddyfreakoffs. It's a mix of both cocaine and ecstasy, and is known as
Oh
Tushi.
my
Wow.
God.
So now I'm thinking when I hear Tushi, I hear that's one of Lil Wayne's nicknames, Lil Tushi. So I'm not sure if it's related to the mix of cocaine and ecstasy, but it's just interesting how the dots are starting to connect. Now, according to the documents, Young Miami and the Combs Rico Enterprise were rehearsing for something in the Westerview in Virginia. The court filing, said. Now, the plaintiff Jones, this is Rodney Jones, he personally witnessed Diddy do a few lines of coke in his dressing room. Now, Diddy wanted Tushi, but Brendan forgot it. Now, Brendan, I believe, is the other person that was arrested the other day, allegedly being the mule for Diddy. And the former college basketball player and all this and this, it was alleged. And again, Rodney Jones brought all this stuff out. That's why it's surprising that he hasn't been questioned yet, but he's ruffling a lot of feathers. Rodney Jones is becoming a hero in this Diddy alleged lawsuit trial stuff. So again, Diddy did a few lines, but he wanted the Tushi. So, Christina Coran, she's the chief of staff. She called Young Miami after Diddy. He just had cocaine, but he wanted Tushi. So she called Young Miami, who then got on a private jet and bought Diddy Tushi. See, narcissists, how can you ever get better? How can you ever heal? How can you ever get better when you have everything at your disposal? See, so having money just makes you a rich whatever you started out as. So Diddy, you're a pedophile. Allegedly, you are a sex trafficker. You definitely, have some mental issues, so getting this money only exasperated it until we have this madman, this narcissist in front of us doing all these heinous things allegedly, and you get other people to do them for you, and one of them is Young Miami, but it didn't stop there. See, the rapper was also listed as a sex worker for Diddy, as I mentioned earlier, but Young Miami's cousin, right, was also named for allegedly sexually assaulting Rodney Jones on Thanksgiving in 2022. So this is a little bird's view, a little caption of how calculated and how controlling Diddy is. Listen to how this went down, right? So Diddy was intoxicated and offered cocaine to Mr. Jones. That's Rodney Jones. Now, Rodney rejected him and proceeded to walk to the restroom. Check this out. While using the restroom, Young Miami's cousin burst into the bathroom and began groping Rodney Jones while he's sitting there urinating. So his joint is out, urinate. Now, Mr. Jones believes that Diddy sent her in there to sexually assault him. And allegedly, and that would make sense because Diddy's whole purpose, he had to try to convert Rodney Jones. He didn't like this resistance. He wanted him to take that. Narcissists want everybody on their side. They're just, like that. The psychosis of it. So he was battling Rodney Jones because he wanted him to come over to the dark side. Homosexuality, illicit sex, freak-offs, and this and that. So it make it easier. He can incriminate him. So now when Rodney Jones come out saying that Diddy robbed him of royalty money and so forth and so on, he could discredit him and say, no, he was involved in this and this and this. But Rodney Jones appeared to stand his ground. Check this out. So Mrs. Jones burst into the bathroom. Young Miami's cousin did not accept Mrs. Jones' rejection, and she proceeded to follow Mr. Jones out of the bathroom, and she started undressing and attempted to straddle him and have sex with him in the presence of Mr. Combs and his staff. This is deep. This is real deep. So they were resilient. They were persistent in putting forth Diddy's agenda, and I'm sure it's other high-powered agenda. Diddy was just one of the key pieces, one of the pawns being, I'll give him a little higher than that. He was maybe a rook, right? He was maybe a rook, or something being used, or a knight being used in the game. But there's some higher powers to be, kings and queens that's moving the joysticks, and I'm sure their name will come out later because everybody gets exposed. Nobody escapes life free. God created a perfect universe to govern us, and it keeps a perfect score, and it's undefeated, even for you, Diddy, and your conspirators. Cuba Gooding Jr. You all know him. I admire Cuba Gooding Jr. as an actor. I didn't know he was allegedly involved in these Diddy freakoffs and different things like that, but his name is mentioned and it's alleged he's definitely involved, and him and Diddy have been doing this stuff for years. Now in the documents, it named Cuba was alleged to have sexually harassed and assaulted Rodney Jones, and Rodney Jones also claims he believes Diddy groomed him in order to pass him off to Cuba Gooding and many other people in the industry. This was a practice. This wasn't just a one-off. This was a practice. Diddy had a system. He implemented a system, and they were operating it for decades. This is crazy. And here's the thing. People are not supporting them because they don't know. When you go to a party, you usually use that time. You want to have a good time. You want to let loose. So most people take something that helped them let loose and have a good time, which usually includes alcohol and or drugs. So many of the people are being quiet because they don't know if they were incriminated or not, because most of the people that attended Diddy's parties don't even remember everything that they did. That's how crazy this is. But Diddy knew the whole time, him and his conspirators, and there's other conspirators that's higher than Diddy, and I'm sure they will come out soon. But here's the thing, again, like I said, Rodney Jones believed that Diddy was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. Now, this fear became reality when Diddy introduced Rodney to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. During the introduction, Diddy suggested that Cuba get to know Rodney Jones. Like, oh, you just introduced us. So we're getting to know each other. We made each other's acquaintance. So why are you suggesting we get to know each other a little more intimately? What does that suggest? But this is what Rodney claims. Now, Cuba Gooding began touching, groping, and fondling Rodney's legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks, and his shoulders. Now, Rodney was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Cuba Gooding Jr. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding did not stop until Rodney Jones forcefully pushed him away. Like, look, I'm not playing with you. We're about to rumble in here if you don't stop trying to force me to compromise who I am. This is alleged what Cuba Gooding Jr. was doing. So in my estimation, Cuba Gooding Jr., you were definitely involved, and you and Diddy go back. Y'all were partners in this for years and years and years. But it gets worse. Mr. Potter's house, TD Jakes. Y'all remember seeing him on the tape at one of Diddy's parties, looked like he was a little drunk or tipsy or something, like singing happy birthday, like who knows, but happy birthday, Mr. Diddy. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself wearing a cloth, acting so out of character, supposed to be shepherding the souls to the Lord. Where are you shepherding them to? Come on. So T.D. Jakes was definitely mentioned in the lawsuits, but he wasn't mentioned as a co-defendant. Now, both Diddy and Bishop joined forces back in 2021. So this when Diddy was already pulling him into the fold. This is when they already knew T.D. Jakes was a little questionable. You know what I mean? He had a little, going on, because he already had lawsuits filed against him from, statutory rape and sexual assaults back that they tried to cover up. Had gag orders trying to pay out, but he also got a young fella that was assaulted allegedly by T.D. Jakes that's now an adult, and he's saying, I don't care, I don't want to respect that gag order. I want to reopen this case and get justice for myself. So T.D. Jakes and Diddy have been in cahoots at least since 2021. In 2022, the two were spotted together in photographs in the music mogul's 53rd birthday party. That's what I just made mention to when he's singing happy birthday to Diddy. Should have been ashamed of himself. And people had a lot to say about that. In the late 2023, Bishop would come under fire again for his own sexual assault allegations. Now, here's the thing. I mentioned earlier, Diddy did a fantastic job of forcing other high-name people, high-profile people, to incriminate themselves. This was very strategic. This is the mind of a narcissist with power and money and fame. This is not good. But it gets worse. The Duke of Sussex, yes, Prince Harry himself, was getting down at Diddy's parties. However, he wasn't mentioned as a co-defendant, but he was named as being seen at Diddy's freak-offs and some of his parties, but they just used him to show the level of celebrity, the level of high-profile people that would come and engage in these parties at Diddy's home. So Diddy got to get out of jail card free that he's going to play once it gets to the climax, once it really gets terribly bad for Diddy, even worse than it is now. He's going to drop that ace card and it's going to blow your mind. I got a great idea who it is, but I ain't going to ruin the fun. I ain't going to spoil it for you. But check this out. It gets even worse. Now, Mr. Combs, known as throwing the best parties, affiliated with and or sponsorship of Mr. Combs' sex trafficking parties, garnered legitimacy and access to celebrities such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, international dignitaries like Prince Harry. What you got to understand is that all of this was calculated. All of this was part of the plan. If they just had anybody, any Joe Smo in there, it wouldn't hold the same weight. Him bringing dignitaries, top flight celebrities, that's the power of leverage. So in other words, if I go down, y'all going down with me.
Yes.
This is why Diddy is not, I repeat, Diddy is not going to jail. One of the biggest shocks is that he would allow his son, Justin Combs, to be knee deep in all of this negativity, all this criminal activity. So a narcissist doesn't care about anybody else but themselves. So Justin Dior Combs, now one of Diddy's sons, is also named as a co-defendant in the suit. Now, Justin is alleged to have been present at the September 22nd shooting at Chalice Recording Studios, engaged in illicit sex acts with sex workers and underage girls, solicit prostitutes, engage in freak-offs, specifically on January 2023. Knowingly and intentionally participated in, perpetrated, assisted, supported, facilitated a sex trafficking venture that was in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce together and with others and more. Listen, that legal jargon, Justin, you're in for it. If you're found guilty, you won't see the light of day for the rest of your life. But because your dad is Diddy, because he's such a calculated narcissist, you may also get off because of Diddy's leverage. Now, Chris Brown and Meek Mills was also mentioned, not as a co-defendant, but as allegedly having sex with underage girls and sex workers. This is crazy. This is Diddy polluting the whole industry. Now, here's the thing. I'm not letting the other people off the hook because nothing can come out of you that's not already in you. But when you got somebody that you respect and that you admire that's telling you to come over here, walk over here, you're more enticed. You're more in tune to walk over that direction. And before you know it, he already got you on tape and you already incriminated. I'm not saying this is what happened to Chris Brown and Meek Mills, but Diddy, I hold you responsible. Now, we all know celebrities have been sealed shut. Nobody's really talking. Nobody's really supporting Diddy. But he does have one puppet that's doing anything in his power to support him. And that's Stevie J. Listen, Stevie J, he's all over the place. But wait until you hear what's allegedly his role in all of this and some of the stuff that he's doing. Now, Stevie J in recent days, he's taking shots at 50 Cent because 50 has been relentless on exposing Diddy. But he's been doing this before the house raids and before all this. So 50 has been 50. He's been authentically himself from the beginning, right? But Stevie J, where do you come from? You're Diddy's puppet that he's controlling you so you're winding you up from the back and telling you what to do in order to try to leverage and make himself look better. Now, according to documents, Diddy used access to Stevie J and his knowledge of Mr. Jones' admiration of Stevie J to groom and entice Rodney Jones to engage in homosexuality. Now, you ain't gonna believe this. Check this out. Now, Diddy went so far as to share a video of Stevie J anally penetrating. So, having sex with another man in the booty, penetrating a Caucasian male without a condom. This was done to ease Mr. Jones' anxiety concerning homosexuality. It was Diddy's aim to convert Rodney Jones. This was part of the plot. It didn't go well. Rodney Jones stood his ground, and I commend him, right? So, according to Diddy, this is a normal practice in the music industry. This is what Diddy's telling Rodney Jones. Like, it's okay to do it in another man's butt or have another man put his thing in your butt because it's common practice in the music industry. Now it make me think Diddy's a high profile. He's at the top of the industry. So if he's saying this is common practice, does everybody that's in the industry got to take that? Come on now. But Rodney Jones goes on. He said Diddy informed Mr. Jones that he had to engage in sexual intercourse with rappers, R&B singers, and Stevie J. Diddy promised to make sure that Mr. Jones wins Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. Look at Diddy.
My God.
He's leveraging his power and his prestige to get these people to sell their souls, to compromise who they are, their principles, their convictions, the foundation of their very being. Shame on you, Diddy. Now, Rodney Jones had good intentions. Rodney Jones was a talented musician, is a talented musician, grew up singing, was recognized, and he sought Diddy out to try to take his game to the next level. You know, and Diddy signed him to Bad Boy, and then all the stuff started. Right now, according to Rodney Jones, he attempted to work with Diddy to secure his publishing and royalty rights for the work he completed on the Love album. Diddy only offered Rodney Jones $29,000 for 13 months of work and thousands of hours. 9 songs made it to the Love album. Ironically, Rodney was willing to take $50,000. He was still going to sell himself totally short and take $50,000. But Diddy didn't even want to come off of 21 more thousand. But yet Diddy made millions off this man and will make millions down the line off of the work that this man did. And he didn't want to even come off with a portion, a small crumb of that. But I tell you why he didn't want to. Because he's pissed off. Narcissists think that they're smarter than everybody. They think they can convince you, manipulate you to do whatever they want you to do. Rodney Jones held his ground. Rodney Jones didn't allow you to make him a homosexual. Allegedly, Rodney Jones countered your narcissism. Yes. So I know why you're super pissed off at Rodney Jones and why you didn't even want to give him 50 grand. If you had given him the 50 grand, you wouldn't even been going through half of this stuff. Cassie still hit you up, but the Rodney Jones thing really putting the icing on the cake. Listen, Diddy humiliated and did Rodney Jones so bad, he left him no other choice but yet try to go to the authorities, try to secure the bag, the work that he did. He had no choice. And this is when you see Rodney Jones go on social media trying to start a GoFundMe page so he can raise the money to hire attorneys to sue Diddy for the money that he owed him. Now, the thing is, Rodney Jones probably wasn't even going to come out with all these allegations and all the stuff that he saw about the freak-offs and all of Diddy's criminal behavior if he would have just gave him the money that he owed them. Yes. This is crazy, but pride always comes before the fall, right? Now, again, Diddy's deceptive business practices became so bad that Rodney left with no choice other than to make a public plea on social media for Diddy to pay him for his work. After publicly requesting that Diddy do the right thing and pay him fairly, Rodney received an onslaught of threatening messages from none other than Diddy's puppet, Stevie J, and other people in the industry. This is crazy. Now, Diddy, his job in all of this is to look innocent. Diddy's job in all of this is to still carry on as everything is normal, because if you're truly innocent, if you truly didn't do anything wrong, then you shouldn't adjust anything in your life because you're confident that the truth will eventually vindicate you. And Diddy he appeared to be staying in good spirits. He was cited in Miami. And I'm sure this made him feel good as the narcissist that he is. Allegedly, he's smiling as the people are cheering for him as they see him as he makes a public appearance. This was on last Sunday on Diddy's estates on the Star Island in Miami. This is the same island that Young Miami bought the Tushi to. So again, Diddy's still trying to appear to be keeping his spirits up. And someone else came out, another rapper. Now he's not really. He said he didn't attend the freak-offs and this and that, but he's just offering some verbal support for Diddy. And this is Akon. I always admire Akon. He's an entrepreneur, a businessman. He's doing some great things, even in Africa, things like that. But he says that he's hoping the truth comes out for everyone involved, and hopes the industry learns a few lessons, right? So in other words, this is the karma coming back. Hopefully y'all learn some lessons, and moving forward, y'all operate differently. Now, Akon encourages everyone to pray for Diddy and leave it in God's hands. 2024 is the year of truth for the music industry. This is what Akon also said. And this kind of mimics Cat Williams' words when he came out and spilled all the juice on Club Shay Shay with his interview with Shannon Sharp. Now, Ray J, Mr. One Wish, Brandy's brother, he was also alleged to be a participant in this whole freak off thing and this whole grooming of young girls, artists, and things to be thrown off and exploited by other workers. But Ray J has something to say. Now, he's friends with Diddy, and his name came up in a lot of allegations that I mentioned. Now, his opinion, he believes supporters of Diddy will begin to come out and support Diddy once they understand the allegations against Diddy. I disagree. I beg to differ. I believe people understand clearly the allegations that's placed against Diddy. I believe that the reason people aren't coming out to support Diddy is because they're uncertain if they're going to be incriminated as well. As I mentioned earlier, here's the thing. When you go to a party, you plan on having a good time. When people want to have a good time, oftentimes they use things to help them to relax and have a good time. Usually alcohol and drugs. So a lot of the people are being quiet that attended Diddy's parties because they are uncertain of what they really did. Because a lot of it they can't remember because of the drugs and alcohol, and because they committed to having a good time and they thought that they were safe. They didn't know they were in the company of a narcissist, a criminal that were trying to make them act inappropriately, out of character, so he can get them on tape, on camera, so he can further push his own negative agenda, but also leverage those videos to keep himself out of harm's way. This is the worst case scenario for people that just admire Diddy, was just in the industry and just trying to have a good time. My heart goes out to all you. But again, moving forward, as Akon said, you got to choose your friends wisely. You got to learn from this, right? Everything that glitters is not gold. Now, to his puppet, Stevie J, he recently posted a video exposing some people who attended Diddy's parties. In my view, Stevie J, you just a puppet for Diddy. Now, the problem with you, Stevie J, is most of the party goers were truly going to have a good time and have fun and have a party. They didn't know that other people were trying to do things to incriminate them, to put them in uncompromisable positions. So who cares, Stevie J, about who you seeing these other people's names and videos and things like that? Because you also the same person that tried to come out on Eve back in the day when she wasn't giving you the time of day after y'all supposedly messed around and you video recorded her in a car or something after supposedly had engaged in some kind of sexual activities. Eve just went to billionaire status, married a billionaire, and is doing wonderful things, glowing when she makes public appearances, and you, on the other hand, have fallen from graces. Your wife, Faith, don't even want to talk to you. So in my view, in my guesstimation, stop while you ahead, Stevie J. Stop being a puppet for Puffy. You already in too deep. You Lawrence Fishburne, you in too deep. Stop while you ahead. Now, this Diddy drama is bigger than big. It's realer than real. And my heart goes out to, more than anybody, to the victims. First, to the victims that were violated and allegedly sexually assaulted and forced to engage in this criminal activity when they just admired and wanted to be a part of closer to the stardom, to the life that they always admired to have. And Puffy went and misled them. So my heart goes out first to the victims that were assaulted and different things like that. And next, my heart goes out to the victims that allegedly engaged in some of these activities but were manipulated to. that were manipulated to by this man that has such prestige and he is so prominent, appears to be so prominent, but in my guesstimation, he's nothing more than a narcissist. My heart goes out to the people that were used and manipulated by him that had good intentions, just wanted to have a good time and go to the party. And thirdly, my heart goes out to all the people out there that really had good intentions coming into the music industry, thinking that it was legit and thinking that you had an opportunity to maximize your potential and become the best version of yourself, only to be manipulated and bought in as a part of this nonsense, right? My heart goes out to all of you. And I thank you all so much for watching and supporting me. Thank you so much. So until next time, be great. But most importantly, be blessed.